Set in the sweltering, sweat-soaked summer of 1932 Mississippi, where the ghosts of cotton fields whisper through Spanish moss and every dusty road leads to pain or prayer, Sinners doesn't just tell a story, it howls it through the rusted strings of a guitar soaked in blood, sweat, and sin. Smoke and Stack, twin brothers born into nothing but dirt and dreams, try to carve something beautiful out of the bitterness, building a band with their cousin Sammy, a shy genius who coaxes magic from 6 strings like his tuning into the voices of the dead. Their music ain't just good, it's spiritual, soaked in something ancient, something that moves through the bones, something that makes old men weep and juke joint walls tremble. But the deeper they get, the more it feels like they're stirring up more than memories, waking things that don't belong to this world anymore. When Remick walks in, smooth, slow, silk-draped with a silver tooth glint and eyes that have seen too many centuries, everything shifts. He's no regular man, and he ain't hiding it long. He's a vampire with a taste for soul, not just blood, but the kind of music that pulls on heartstrings and memories like a preacher pulls sinners from the pews. He doesn't want Sammy dead, not yet. He wants that sound, that soul, that connection to something even the undead can't buy or bite their way into. Remick hears Sammy play and for the first time in 200 years, he remembers what it was like to feel something like love, like sorrow, like home. And that makes him dangerous. Because while he wants to save a piece of himself through Sammy, he's still a predator, still ancient hunger wrapped in velvet words. He offers mercy, let me have the boy, and no one else gets hurt. But Smoke doesn't deal with devils, not even ones who cry while they kill. What follows is a bloody blues opera, guitars turned to weapons, music turned to war cries, as the dream of building something gets swallowed by nightmare after nightmare. Yet in all this chaos, the horror never feels random. It's all tied to legacy, who you are, who you came from, who you're willing to become to protect the people you love. That's where the real heartbreak lies. Because Smoke, hard-headed and loyal, refuses to break, even as everything around him does. Stack, torn between survival and soul, finds himself pulled in 2 directions, toward Mary, the hauntingly beautiful woman with fire in her heart and fangs in her mouth, and toward his brother, who's willing to burn down the world before he lets it take Sammy. And Sammy, quiet Sammy, becomes the axis the whole thing turns on, his music unlocking not just memories for Remick, but something deeper, something darker, something divine. There's something almost biblical about it all, the way the film draws lines between sin and salvation, music and madness, blood and baptism. And Remick, for all his coldness, feels almost like a fallen angel, wandering the delta looking for a piece of his soul he lost somewhere between slavery and jazz. But don't get it twisted, this ain't no redemption story. Remick may cry, but he still kills. And the people around him? They bleed, they burn, they bite back. Especially Smoke, who becomes the film's anchor and its avenger, dragging the narrative through fire and fury until only the truth remains. Family is everything, and anyone who threatens it, even a sorrowful vampire who plays the piano like he's remembering his first heartbreak, has to go. But if you think Remick's the scariest thing in Sinners, think again. Because when Hogwood rides in with his clan boys, ropes swinging and torches lit, we're reminded that the real monsters don't always drink blood. Sometimes they wear hoods and call it holy. The KKK in this film isn't just set dressing, they are the raw, racist horror that predates vampires by centuries, and they make every supernatural scream seem small in comparison. Hogwood is violence without purpose, hate without hesitation, and when he crashes the juke joint with his men, you feel it in your gut, not just fear, but fury. The film doesn't flinch, showing you that sometimes evil smiles in daylight and drinks sweet tea while planning murder. And the wild thing? Remick sees it too. He might be undead, but he's not blind. There's a moment, subtle, chilling, where he pauses as Hogwood rants, and there's almost respect in his eyes when Smoke stands tall, refusing to kneel. Because if Sinners has a thesis, it's this: monsters are made, not born, and not all of them have fangs. Smoke, bleeding and broken, becomes a force of reckoning, delivering justice not just to vampires but to the men who think crosses and fire make them righteous. It's a bloodbath, but it's also liberation. Fire consumes, but it also cleanses, and by the time the credits roll, the air smells of ash, blood, and something like freedom. Or so you think. Because then comes the post-credits scene, and oh, baby, it changes everything. Turns out Stack and Mary didn't die. They disappeared, remade in blood and bound by something stranger than love. The scene opens in 1992, neon-lit and dripping with swagger, and there they are, smooth, sharp, and undead in the best way. Mary's rocking leather and confidence, and Stack. He's no longer the conflicted soul from the juke joint. He's evolved, a man who's seen hell and come out grinning. The world's changed, but they've adapted. They sip blood from wine glasses and spin Prince records, moving like ghosts who decided to haunt the living with style. And this twist. It ain't just cool, it's loaded. Because what do you do with two vampires who know the pain of racism, the price of love, and the rhythm of a culture they helped shape? You follow them. Sinners 2 is practically screaming from the shadows, ready to turn this blues ballad into a full-blown opera. Stack and Mary could be heroes or villains, or both, moving through modern America with old eyes and sharp teeth. Imagine it, city lights, dive bars, whispers of the past, and new enemies rising, not with crosses but corporations, not with torches but tech. And through it all, that music stays, that aching, bending, defiant blues, because at its core, Sinners is about the sound. The sound that holds memory, the sound that carries sorrow, the sound that refuses to die. Whether it's played on a cracked guitar in a smoky Mississippi shack or blasted through speakers in a concrete jungle, it matters. It moves. And Remick knew that. Maybe that's why he wanted Sammy so bad, not just for the sound, but for what it meant. A way back. A way forward. A way to feel again. And isn't that what we're all after, in the end? Whether you're a man, a vampire, or something in between, all we want is to be remembered, to be felt, to matter. That's why Sinners lingers, long after the credits stop rolling. Because it's not just horror. It's history. It's heartache. It's harmony wrapped in horror. And now that the dust has settled, now that the juke joint's burned and the blood's dried, what we're left with isn't just a good movie. It's a promise. A whisper. A chord that won't stop ringing. The story ain't over. Not by a long shot. Stack and Mary are out there, somewhere, and they've got stories to tell, enemies to face, and maybe, just maybe, a reckoning to deliver. Because the blues never die. They just change keys.